welcome back to Unbroken Arrows podcast. As always, I'm Catherine, and today
Greg.
I have Greg on the phone.
Yeah, I'm on the phone. I'm in Des Moines, Iowa, helping my son Trey move from Omaha to Des Moines. So we just arrived in Des Moines. I'm outside. Maybe people can hear the birds chirping or the wind blowing or the traffic. I don't know, but yeah. So how are you, Catherine? I haven't seen you for a long time.
I know, it's been like 2 weeks almost.
Yeah, we've people might have noticed that listen to the podcast. There have been several that I've done on my own, and last week Catherine and Nate did their own podcast. So yeah, it's good to hear your voice, and hopefully sometime within the next few days we can actually see each other in person.
Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, we live in the same house. But,
right.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Greg, you were just on quite the road trip.
We were your mom and your little sister Teresa and I. We went to visit my daughter Sydney and granddaughter Audrey in Washington. Specifically, they live in Oak Harbor, which is on Whidbey Island. And we also had the opportunity then to stay with some friends of mine that I taught with when I taught in Omaha. Mike and Denise Antrim. They live in Anacortes, which is just about 20 miles north of Oak Harbor, and that's on a different island. That's on Fidalgo Island. So we made that trip, stayed there for a few days, then came back to Castle Rock, Colorado to attend my nephew's wedding. And then the day after the wedding, we went to Parker, Colorado to pick up your sister Mesa, who was visiting her aunt, and came back. So I was going to try to sit down and total up the number of miles we drove. It's substantial. We saw such beautiful, beautiful scenery, the mountains and the plateaus and the valleys and the rivers. And this is just a wonderful country to drive through and take the time to really, really appreciate. So, yeah. But you were traveling too, Catherine. You didn't do the road miles. You took the easy way out, but you and Mackenzie had a trip too. So where'd you go? Yeah,
we flew from Sioux Falls to Denver, and then Denver to Idaho Falls. And then from there, we drove up into West Yellowstone is where we were staying, which is just outside of Yellowstone Park. So fortunately, our trip took about, I think, 6 hours total versus if we had driven. I don't even know what it would have been. A lot longer.
Let me tell you, it probably would have been about 20 hours because that's about what it would have taken us to get there if we drove. Because we looked to possibly drive through Yellowstone on the way to Washington. So, yeah, you saved a good 14 hours at least.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm not a huge fan of planes anyways, so that was a little bit interesting. It was okay, don't get me wrong, but I could have gone without as much turbulence as we had.
Sure, but you have the double whammy too. Aren't you a little prone to be getting car sick too?
Yeah, so I took Dramamine both times before, but so actually our flight back from Denver to Sioux Falls, on our way home, we got stuck on the runway for an hour, I think, because there was clouds and wind and whatnot, and it wasn't safe to fly. But so they shut everything off in the plane. So there's no air. It's so hot. We're sweating. And then finally, when we get up into the air, we had turbulence the entire way. They didn't come around with drink carts or anything because there was just the plane shook the whole way home. I was like, oh my gosh, the guy in front of us, or actually it was the plane from Idaho to Denver, was also, it wasn't perfect. It wasn't bad. But the one of the guys in front of us started throwing up. So that was really fun.
Oh, yeah, not pleasant. So what time did you get home? I know people that are listening to this may not believe this, but yeah, we were actually in the same house for 12 hours or so
Yeah.
after both of our trips, and we still didn't see each other. But so what time did you get home that night?
I got home, we landed in Sioux Falls at like 12. I think it was right at midnight.
Okay.
So then by the time we got home, it was probably 12:30. But then, of course, I slept until like 10.
Yeah.
So you were probably, I think you had already, or you were outside actually. I left.
Yeah.
You were outside, and it was Nate's birthday, so I left.
Mm-hmm. Well, guess what? Happy belated birthday, Nate. It's on my calendar, but I didn't look, so I apologize. Oh, well, one of the things that I wanted to talk about today were some of the topics that will be a future podcasts. One of our guests will be a representative from the Casting for Recovery nonprofit organization that is responsible for planning fly fishing retreats for women with breast cancer. And they will be having their next retreat. I do believe it'll be in October at Ponca State Park in Nebraska. And I will also be talking with the not Sioux Falls, South Dakota representative, and they will be having a Casting for Recovery retreat before that, I think. But I don't know as many of the details of that one, but I'll find that out later this week. So I think that's going to be an interesting conversation. I've heard nothing but very wonderful and powerful things with regard to the Casting for Recovery organization. Another topic, my nephew, the wedding that your mom and Teresa and I attended this past weekend, my nephew's been through some tough times. And I hope at some point in time, maybe he will be a guest on our podcast. But he now is working for an organization called Hard Beauty. And the founder of Hard Beauty she actually officiated his wedding, and we were able to meet some people there, and I got to visit with her. It just right down the line with what Unbroken Arrows Healing Through the Hunt is all about. When we talk about, we want people that are suffering from mental illness and different depression or anything like that, and it's an organization that works with people that have been incarcerated, people that have addictions, people that are struggling with mental health, people that just need support. And my nephew needed that, and he became part of the organization, actually works for them now. And this is going to be something that I think that our listeners would just like to hear about, because anybody, we all know somebody that's struggling, and any resource that we can help people find or connect them with, I think that's part of what our whole idea behind this podcast was. Mm-hmm. So anyway, those are a couple of the ones that will be coming up, and I hope my brother doesn't get upset with this, but I want him to be a guest on our podcast as well. And my dad died as a result of prostate cancer, and my brother Pete was diagnosed a while back. He's had the surgeries and went through the treatments, and just found out a couple of days ago with his most recent test that there was no cancer detected. So
that's awesome.
That was great. That's great news for him, and I know that he already said he wanted to be on the podcast, but he asked if we could wait till after this last test, and the news couldn't be better.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's good to hear.
Indeed. So You and Trey always are able to carry on the conversation. So he was in North Carolina. Yeah, where were you? North or South Carolina, Trey? North Carolina for a week. So
Hello, Catherine.
Hey, Trey.
What's up?
Not much. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I am good. I was kind of following along on your little trip on social media because you were posting that you said it was South Carolina?
North Carolina.
North Carolina. And what exactly were you doing down there?
So we got linked up with this guy named Matt Hubble out of Charlotte, and he started talking to my artist, J. Roddy, and just started kind of building with us and creating with us through Discord, and we got to build a relationship and all that. And then we finally just decided on a date to finally all meet up, because I haven't met my guys from Boston yet. So we got all of them together in Charlotte, and then we had a whole entire week, 7 days of nothing but creation, shooting content, making music, bullshitting. It was just so much fun. We all clicked like we were best friends, like we knew each other for years. So it was a really good time, and yeah, I mean, I would do it again in a heartbeat, but hopefully our next trip's like New York or something. That'd be cool.
That would be cool. And because you guys are in Omaha?
I mean, I'm in Des Moines now, but my artist is out of Boston, and then my engineer is out of Providence, Rhode Island.
Okay, so you're all
in their
over.
one spot, and then I'm out here in the Midwest having to make the trip to go see them. So
you're out there just by yourself.
Yeah, I know. I'm the one that's making the hefty flights, but Charlotte was kind of a good meet in the middle spot. It was only a 2-hour flight for each of us.
Yeah, so that's not bad at all.
Wasn't even bad.
I was just telling Greg, I was just in Yellowstone, and we flew out there, and our flight home was pretty much all turbulence.
Oh, I hate
awful.
that. I was already scared enough of my flight.
Are you not big on flying?
No turbulence. No, not anymore. I mean, I have too many dreams of plane crashes. I don't know why I do, but it had me a little bit nervous while I was flying. But I realized what I was doing, and it was cake. When
we got into Denver, there was like ambulances and cop cars and fire trucks on the runway, and they were at another plane. I was like, okay, we're all gonna die. I still don't know what happened, but
that wouldn't make me feel any better.
Yeah, no.
Seeing that even landing. It was probably an emergency landing of some sort.
I'm guessing. And there was all of those cruises that had people sick recently.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if it had something to do with that or what, but
yeah, that scared the absolute crap out of me.
At least we were already on the ground. So I was like,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the scariest part. There was one lady that was dead asleep, and she screamed as soon as we touched down.
Oh my god!
That big bump scared the shit out of her. It was funny. It's pretty comical.
That is funny.
But yeah, Charlotte was fun. We made some really good music, and it was a experience that I'll never forget. We got to meet some pretty prolific figures that do a lot of behind the scenes work in the industry on a lot of music that people know, a lot of very, very popular music. And I got to meet DaBaby. I don't know if anybody knows who that is, but I was in the security with him at the airport.
Who's
he
that?
He had a ski mask on, and it was DaBaby.
Yeah, I have no idea who that is.
If you heard, there's a couple of his songs you would definitely know. But okay. He was in the airport with a ski mask on, and I was kind of freaked out by the dude. But as soon as I heard his voice, I'm like, no way, that's you. And he's like, yeah, that's me. He couldn't take off his ski mask because he was one of the most famous people out of Charlotte, and he was just flying to a show in Vegas that night.
So it was cool. A ski mask. So remind people how they can find your music.
So I recently got my artist page figured out on Spotify. So now we're going to be doing co-releases with all of my team. So I'm on Spotify everywhere. I have a page under Pav Made It that has a playlist of all the things that I've been featured on and I've produced. I'm on Apple Music too. You just got to follow. If you follow J. Roddy Music on any platform, you'll find me. You'll hear my tag. And yeah, it's pretty much everywhere.
And is any of this new music that you are creating, does it have a release day? Or is
We're thinking about
go ahead.
One song that we did with, I think we had 4 people on it. We had 2 producers and then 4 artists. It's a masterpiece. It's the best thing I've ever been a part of. We're hoping for July, but with that amount of people on a song, it could be one of those things that never gets released, which is scary. But everyone I've showed it to is like in disbelief about how quality and the random people we have on it that we were just meeting up with at the studio. Everything clicked perfectly, and I don't know, it was just magic. Every time I listen to it, I get goosebumps.
That's awesome. Well, I want to hear it, so you better send it to me.
I will send it to you.
Perfect. This is the perks of knowing a musician, as you get all the behind the scenes music.
Yep, absolutely. But even when I might not do it, might not need to, but I still bless people with the
You bless people.
Okay. Early magic.
Wind it down a little. Fun.
Gotta have confidence.
And so you are moving to Des Moines.
We're finishing up finally, and then hopefully we can get a
geography
here soon.
My geography is not very good. How far is that from Sioux Falls? Like hours, not miles.
I would say like, I want to say I looked it up, and I think it's like 3.5 or so. So
not that bad.
I don't know for sure, but from Omaha, it's a dead flat 2 hours and 1 minute. It's a straight shot, so it's an easy drive.
Gotcha. Yeah, there's like so many different Des Moines that I just get them all mixed up, and I don't know where each of them are.
So, I love it. It's like a sister city to Omaha. Seems a little bit cleaner too.
Is it bigger than Omaha?
I think it might be a little bit bigger. I'm not completely sure. I might be dead wrong on that, but it feels bigger because there's the south side, there's the east side, north side, and then because they're like considered that, but it just goes on, and we've gone to every part of it, and it's like a 30-minute drive each way. So,
jeez,
it seems pretty big. It's like spread out.
Gosh, it's smaller than Sioux Falls, though.
Yeah, see, I would think it is because Sioux Falls is huge. We've been doing a lot of fishing recently too.
Oh yeah.
On the topic of unbroken arrows.
Are you catching anything?
Yeah. We went to a little farm pond. We caught my first 2 casts for crappie, and then pretty large bluegill after that. And then we went out to a place called Big Creek, and apparently my girlfriend Lexi and her friend Will went out one day last summer, I believe, and they each caught 20 plus walleye within a couple hours, and the walleye is apparently insane there. So I'm gonna definitely have to take Dad there so we can get his walleye fixed.
Yeah, I want to go
during the summer. Yeah, it would be awesome. There's a lot of places around here, and I got lucky to snag one that likes fishing. So
no kidding.
We can do that whenever we want. Yeah.
Not many of us girls out there.
No, right? I'm gonna take her on a dove hunt this fall.
Oh my goodness, you should bring her to South Dakota, and we can go dove hunting.
I want to really bad. I want to do all the game hunting I can with her because she's all about it. So I'm excited for it.
That's awesome. Greg was making fun of me because apparently in the last podcast, I just kept saying that's crazy. And so now I just realized I keep saying that's awesome. So I gotta think of new words.
That's a tough one to do.
Expand my vocabulary.
Your brain just goes straight to it every time. Mine does too.
I know. And I guess Nate kept saying something like that's accurate.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was like, I didn't even notice that.
That's better. That's accurate.
Because I kept making fun of him because I'm a better shot with a rifle. He'd be like, surprisingly, that's accurate.
Yeah.
So, fun stuff.
I miss Nate. I want to hang out with him again. First flights with him.
Oh, boy. Well, you'll have to send me pictures if you start catching big fish. I haven't really fished much this year.
I haven't done as much as I wanted to, but we're getting into a groove of doing it every other weekend, and I'm gonna start doing it after work and taking my poles with me. And there's the Raccoon River is like less than a mile from us. We could walk if we wanted to.
Raccoon River, huh?
Yeah, it's a. I don't know if it's an actual river. I think it's a lake, but it was. I don't know if you saw it on my Snapchat story, but it was just glass. We went out there at 7 a.m. and it was just pure glass, and it was the only noise were the ducks flying over. It was awesome. That's
super cool. Yeah,
kind of fishing.
We're going to go shoot paddlefish this weekend, so that'll be cool.
That sounds good.
That's the closest really cool. I'll get to fishing probably for another week.
I've yet to go fish.
So I was super excited. I saw someone caught snagged a black paddlefish. And I was like, dude, I want to shoot a black paddlefish. That'd be so cool. And then Nate totally burst in my bubble because he was saying that like a lot of paddlefish are black this time of the year. And then they like turn gray later. And I was like,
Why is
no
that?
way. I don't even know if that's true. That's just what Nate was telling me.
Maybe it's the depths they're at.
I have no clue, but I was like, I really want one because I thought it was rare.
They're big, huh?
They can be. I want to shoot a big one.
The coolest thing we caught last weekend was a drum. I've never seen one in real life.
Oh, I hate those things. Those are awful.
Lexi, that's the only thing she didn't want to catch, and it's the only thing she did catch.
Yeah, it's
on our last cast of the day.
I hate drum. They're like, especially in Big Stone, they're all over the place.
They're all over.
All right, well,
I've never had to encounter them.
I just looked up the whole black paddlefish thing, and this is saying that they're rare. So I don't know what Nate's talking about.
They tag the walleyes in, what's it called? What's that? Big Creek. They tag them, and apparently if you play one and find the tag in it, you get $200 to $300 for it if you return it.
I've heard of people doing that.
That's what Lexi wants to get this year, so we have to embark on that. Yeah.
They do that.
She's got to eat them. She's got to eat them first. She's not a big fish eating fan, so I'm like, all I want to do is fillet.
They used to do that with like a pheasant. They would put like a band on a pheasant.
Yeah.
And then you had to like sign up for it before the fact. Everyone put in like $10. And then if you shot it and you were signed up, you won like, it was something crazy. It was like a couple $100,000.
Wow.
But you had to like
snow geese too.
You had to prepay for it.
Then you have to get your hunting in to make your chances better.
Yeah, and they didn't like tell anyone where they released it or anything.
Well, that would be a rush.
Mm-hmm. Imagine you like randomly were like, it's $5, I'll throw in. And then you find it and you're like, holy buckets.
Yeah, I'd lose my shit.
Yeah, I would be jumping up and down.
You got to visit with Trey. Now I'm back, and I see how this works. I expected maybe 2 minutes with Trey, and it lasted longer than that. And now half the trailer's unloaded, and I'm all sweaty. So I see how that works. But anyway, well, good talking to you, Catherine. I think that, if I'm not mistaken, you and Nate are going to be going after some paddlefish sometime soon.
Yeah, I was just talking to Trey about that. That's this weekend. We're going to go try to shoot paddlefish with our bow fishing bows.
And that's down below Gavin's Point Dam. Is that correct?
I don't really know where we're going. I'm just in it for the ride, so I would assume yes, but I really have no clue.
Yeah, I don't know what our plans are this weekend, but we might maybe we'll drive down that way and see what type of success you have. That would be. I'm hoping and praying that you have success, because I haven't had paddlefish in such a long time that I hope you would share if you do happen to get one.
I will share.
Or two.
Yeah. I wouldn't know how to cook it anyways. So, and from people I've talked to, like a lot of them have said that they aren't really that much of a fan. So I'm intrigued to see how you cook it.
Oh, really? Boy, those folks probably eat a very bland diet then, because this is really one of the best. It's almost like the consistency of halibut or cod, but it's a freshwater fish. It's a real firm white meat. But and I'll have to talk to Nate, because there's a particular way to clean it too, because it is a cartilaginous fish. It is not a bony fish. So it's a little bit different way to clean it. But so anyway,
interesting.
Well, good talking to you again.
Yeah, you too. Thank you, Greg and Trey, for coming on and talking to me over the phone. I enjoyed our conversation. And as always, if you or someone you know is thinking of suicide or in need of crisis intervention, please call the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline by dialing 988. To all of our listeners, take some time to get outside, enjoy the outdoors, and experience its healing powers. With that, on behalf of Greg and me, until next time.